if you track back and you look at people's day, and if I were to ask you to open your calendar, it could be very telling. In fact, one of the things I do with clients is I do a calendar review. We look at it, go back through what the calendar looks like. And the skill is what's called time boxing. Who here is familiar with the concept of time boxing? Not everybody is, which I was kind of surprised. I spoke last week, and I was surprised that it was not something that people knew about, and so I wanted to share that with you. Do you all have tasks or things, projects, that you need to do that you know are going to take some time and concentration? Okay? And we have that in our head, but sometimes it stays in our head. It stays a little bit longer, rent-free, and we don't get to it, we don't do it. So the concept of time boxing is that you actually take a fixed period of time in your calendar for a planned activity. And so the idea is that you have a deliverable and a deadline. So let me give an example. The example is, if I am working on creating this postcard, design-wise, and I know that it's going to take me a while to set it up, get the picture taken. If I just randomly start in on it and I've got a little bit of free time, likely I am going to be distracted. What might pop up on my computer is an email, notification, my phone might ring, etc. So the idea behind time boxing is you say, all right, on this particular day, I'm going to block out 90 minutes. I'm going to block out 30 minutes. I'm going to block out, and I'm going to set it up so that I have the right environment, I have everything that I need, and I have all distractions. You know, I might have a sign on the door, do not disturb, will be available at 2:30. Who has people that come to your office all the time and knock on the door, interrupt you? But what happens is, if I were to try to do this and start it at 8 o'clock, and I was trying to do it in between distractions, emails, phone calls, meetings, at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, I might have it done, I might not. I keep going in and out of it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what causes our mental fatigue at the end of the day, because we keep jumping back and forth. It's exercise, but it's the wrong exercise. It's mental exercise. So if I were to say, okay, I'm going to block this out, I'm going to knock it out in 90 minutes. I have no idea how long it's going to take me, but I'm going to say 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever. Block it out, set the right environment. You will be surprised. It will actually take you less because you're focused and you're concentrated on what it is you need to get done. Here's the thought on time boxing. Here's the thought of, could you take 30 minutes and say, I'm going to clean up all my 2-minute tasks. And just for fun, I brought my to-do list. So I'm a paper and pen kind of gal. Who here is electronic on their to-do list? Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're paper or electronic. It doesn't make you more productive per se. It is what works for you. So if I were to look at my list for today, this, by the way, is my master list. So I have everything dumped in my head that I need to do today, tomorrow, someday. It's on here because if I keep it in my head, it makes it a lot harder to remember. I want to clean up some of the things that I have that I don't need to keep hanging around on here. And so I go through here and I pick off my 2-minute tasks. And I accomplish it in 90 minutes. So I've got about 40 things done, right? Would that make sense? If in fact I did that. So I encourage you to do that. I'll tell you, it is how I wrote my book, was time boxing. And actually I'm a 3-time author, and that was how I wrote my book. And I think there's some authors in the room or people if you're doing that. So with that, let me ask you, is there anybody have any comments or questions about time boxing? It's a really cool skill to master. You go into this time boxing time, and I have a conversation with one of my clients. I said, get the water, get whatever, get the soft music going, whatever you want in your environment to make that happen. Because here's what's happened. We are way more productive when we're calm, relaxed, then we're ready to show up and work during this time slot, and we can get a lot done, and we can do the burst work and get things, we can knock it out and be, Here's an example. There's a guy that I work with, his name's Bob, and he has a report that's due to his boss every week. And if he does the report throughout the day, trying to accomplish it on Mondays, it takes him all day long, probably about 3 hours. If he time boxes 45, he's figured it out. It takes him 45 minutes to actually get this accomplished. So he time boxes it, and so he would much rather spend 45 minutes focused than an all-day, 3-hour, whatever amount of time. So I see a lot of head shaking here, and that really does make sense. So what I'm saying is, be intentional with your productivity. I'm not one of those that says, well, you can get twice as much done in half the time. That's a half-truth and a myth.